back to another episode of the Isn't That Rich podcast. Today, Jared and I are going to be talking about the MyFSB mobile banking app and why you should have it and all the amazing features that it has. And you know what, Jared? Do you know something?
What?
Lots of people don't have the MyFSB mobile banking app that do bank with us, and I think it's really interesting.
That is kind of crazy.
There is kind of still a little stigma around having your bank on your phone. Like people want to do some things old school, and I can't believe it. So
yeah,
I want to talk about, why have the app? I can't live without it. Can you?
No, and to me, that's a huge factor in who I want to bank with is their mobile banking app. Right. Honestly, that's why I've loved banking at Farmers. I've banked there for many years, and they have a great app. Yeah. It's so user friendly. It does everything that I need it to do and more. I know it has many features that I think are really fun that help me achieve my financial goals. And I'll be honest. So, yeah. So, the basics is what's nice is you can check your balances anytime. Could you imagine waiting to the end of the month to get a paper statement in the mail and being like, oh my gosh, I have been frauded out of so much money. Yeah. And I could have stopped this as soon as I opened my checking or my account. That's that is such a good point because fraud is so crazy right now. Literally I feel like that's the number one reason why you should have a frauded. You have to view your activity. Remember that time, Ashley, when we swapped debit cards on accidentally? And you're like, $100 of Taco Bell, no, that was me spending your card, but that could have been a criminal. Yeah, and then if I wouldn't have caught it, you would have just kept using my card. Would have kept using it. You're right. That's the best story. So, you need to stay on top of that. Your mobile banking app is going to be the quickest way to do that, the easiest way to do that. You can even do face recognition. Yeah, it's real easy to get in. It's real easy to view all your accounts, everything that you've spent, everything that you've saved, your direct deposits. Yeah. If you're overdrafted, like Jared. I do. Yeah. Everyone's like, why am I listening to this financial podcast with this guy every time you're on here? But they relate. They relate to me. So anyway, sorry. They get it. They get it. I'm just helping. And I'm learning. And I am definitely becoming more proactive of checking it every other day or so, once a week. Do you ever get on your online banking and you immediately have a mini heart attack? You're like, sometimes when things post, the whatever is in the system just doesn't seem like if you went to Panera, maybe it doesn't say Panera, it'll say something a little weirder, but then you realize it was Panera. But yeah, all the time. I'm like, what? And Who has my card? Run to the front desk, look this up. What is it? They're like, you were shopping on Amazon again at midnight. Do you not remember? Do you not remember? Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's many times that I'm like, who bought this? But I always know it's me. And it's always been me. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad that I can check that day in and day out. And you can log into it as many times a day as you need to. It's just great. It is great. So I think the first thing, just having access to those accounts. Mm-hmm. Why would you not download the app? I don't understand. I know. But I think it's funny because I've heard that some people are like, that's not safe. Digital stuff is not safe. Someone could hack into it. And very well, that can be the case sometimes. Mm-hmm. You can have fraud with people hacking into your account, which seldom does that happen. But I would be more scared of not knowing that A, something happened very urgently, and B, someone stealing my mail with my statements and information on there. I just think that's more likely to happen. Right. So, yeah. So the second thing about the MyFSB mobile banking account, you can control your cards on there. Yeah. Fabulous. So you can go down to the menu, hit menu, then do manage cards. All the things you can do with these cards is cool. So if you have 3 debit cards in there, you can literally click which one you want to work with, click on it. You can turn your card on and off from your phone, which I've had to do several times. Same. Because I inevitably lose it, misplace it, or you just don't know
maybe you don't know where your debit card's at and you're
leaving it
freaking
at a
out.
restaurant, or if you go to like a bar and you do like an open
tab and you leave it there,
like your card or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
so I turned my debit card off, like, and it's great. Once again, so glad I can just log into the account and do that because I can just swipe it off. And then when I've found it, or if I haven't found it, I feel like a sense of security knowing that no one can use this debit card. I don't know where it's at. Turn it off, turn it back on.
Yeah. I remember I even got it back and then you try to use it and it declines. You're like, what's happening? Oh, that's
I've
why.
I've done that too. You have to remember to turn it back on because then you'll go to a store and
it's embarrassing. I'm like, I swear there's money on here. I just turned the card off.
Your card's been declined. What do you mean?
So embarrassing.
You're like showing them your bank account. You're like, look, I have money, I swear.
They're like, that's debatable.
They're like, actually, no, you don't.
Wait, actually, wasn't it turned off?
It's great though, because then in that moment you go, bing, I have to just turn my debit card back on. And then you tell them this whole story about how you lost it. And they're like, okay, yeah, there's a line, hun.
There's a line, hun.
So yes, I love that. Mm-hmm. And then also, this is a really cool feature. I found this the other day, but you can schedule when to use your card. And I think
interesting feature.
I do think it's cool. And this is why. If you have a business and we have business debit cards, let's say I owned a company and Jared worked for me and I gave him a company card to use because he's my manager and I need him to go buy stock for the store. But if after 3 p.m. every day, I can schedule his card to be turned off so that he cannot use it after work hours. And I think there's plenty of other reasons why someone would maybe want to schedule turning their cards off. I think about for parents and teens, like if your teen, typically your teenager doesn't have access to online banking. Maybe they should. I don't know. I never had it, so I wouldn't have known. But if my parents say they didn't want me using my debit card to shop at night, I don't know. They can schedule when I can use my debit card. And so just put some parameters around when you can actually use this piece of plastic. Yep. So I think that's really nice. That might be one of my favorite features of the app. Okay. So you can turn it on and off and you can schedule when you can use that card.
Well, my favorite feature of the app is P2P. Person
to person transfers. Goodbye Venmo.
Surprisingly, I feel like I have used that feature more than any other feature. So P2P means person to person transfer. It's like Venmo. It's like Cash App. It's like PayPal. All those. Oh, sorry, dropped my phone. But it is way safer. It doesn't cost any money, and you can send funds to basically anybody. So it doesn't have to be a farmer's customer to another farmer's customer. It could be me as a farmer's customer to someone that banks at Banterra and still pay them. And so, we're young, we're social, we're always going out to eat with friends. We're not always splitting the check. So and-so will get it. And then,
pay them back. And it's instant. It's instant. Literally as soon as you type it in, it's in their bank account. And so kind of cuts out, what I love is it cuts out, there's no fee and it cuts out the middleman like Venmo.
Right.
I like Venmo. I use it too, but you have to wait for your funds for at least 3 days if you don't want them to take a sliver of your money. And I don't want to give them any money. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait it out. But if you were someone that was in a pickle and maybe you needed the money that fast.
And I feel like
them a fee.
I do feel like not that their Venmo is completely unsafe or Cash App, but at the bank, we do see a lot of fraud and stuff happening through apps like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal.
Right.
It's crazy.
And we do have a limit on how much you can send P2P, and it's for security. But the nice thing is you can always call us and you can increase your limit for a day. So I think it's nice. Once again, like Venmo, if I called them, I don't think I can talk to a live person and probably take me 20 hours to get, I just have no idea. But when you're dealing with this at the bank, like we can call, look at your account and do all those things. So it's really nice.
And what I like is like you can create like your list of people. So normally you just like put in their phone number. Like I already have like on retainer, like people that I normally
pay back
a lot. So literally all I have to do is just like click their name and it's like done. Yeah. It's super easy.
So easy. Yeah. And it just comes directly out of your account. So, you're not like waiting. No. Okay. Next thing is our mobile check deposit. I feel like if you don't have mobile check deposit on your bank app, lame. Because if you're not someone that banks a lot or like you're not someone that goes to the bank a lot. Like you don't really you're just not like popping in and out of there all the time, and you don't want to. Maybe you live further away. Maybe you live 15 minutes away. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile check deposit, you literally just take a picture of your check and then it gets deposited into your account. Like it's the easiest thing ever.
It seems bizarre that
it's the weirdest thing, but it's so easy. And they do have like checks and balancing system, make sure it's legitimate and all those things. And you have to write certain things on it, but it's super fast, super easy. And you just deposit a check. I love that. Yeah. I work at the bank and half the time I won't go deposit it up at the teller station. I'll just take a picture of it on my phone because I'm like, this is so easy.
Yeah, I've actually, because for a while, I always felt like you had to go to the bank and give them the checks. That somehow the check itself was like
it feels like a little daunting. Yeah,
but when you can just take a photo of it and then it's done, it's super easy. Why would you not? Yeah. Why would you not do that? Yeah, we love when people come to the bank, though. We really do. Yeah. So come to the bank, hang out with us. You'll get a free drink. But if you're feeling very antisocial, it's perfect for that.
Yeah. Or I think if maybe, let's say you were on vacation and you rerouted your mail and you weren't near your bank, you could just deposit if you're getting paid by check for a bunch of things. That's cool. Yeah. No one's sending me a check, but.
Me either.
Why? Sad. But it's still a very cool feature. I think it's great for businesses as well. So if you're a bumping business and you got checks all the time, snap, 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 you don't even have to go to the bank.
Heck yeah. The next feature would be smart budgeting with alerts. This is a really great one. So you can actually create budgets on your mobile banking app. So I created one. I have like a dining out budget.
I have that one too.
I wish it's like the second day of the month and they're like, you've already exceeded 80% of your dining out budget. I'm like,
also, I will say with something like a dining budget, if you're only using your debit card, I think that's fine to make one of those. But if you're someone like me where I use half the time my credit card, half the time cash, half the time my debit card, might not be as accurate.
Okay.
But there are plenty of other budgets on there. And they do recommended budgets. It's really cool. Like they have savings budgets. They have like down payment budgets. They have get out of debt budgets. Like,
oh, that's great.
There are many, many, many different prompts and options that you can do. And it's just going to send you a text and an email when you've like exceeded or you're getting close to your limit, which I think is great.
I like the text alerts, especially when it's just like, you've exceeded this percentage. Because you can tell it, I think, what percentage you want to be notified. So if it's like you've exceeded 50% of blank budget, I know I need to be a little more tight the rest of the month. Yeah. Right? You can even get alerts of when your card is used, which I think with fraud happening all the time, if I get an alert that something happened or I'm like, and I'm not using my card, then right then and there, like something's up. But I would definitely recommend setting that up as well, so that anytime you swipe your card, you get like a text alert that your card was being used. I think it's a helpful feature. I'm telling you, with fraud right now,
you want to be notified,
to be on top of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I love the budgets. I think it's great. And if you just want to get in the app, mess around with it, you can always turn your budgets off. Like if you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, this one isn't working for me, you can turn it off. It's really easy. So very user friendly. The final thing, and I think this is just fabulous, is bill pay. And so bill pay is basically you automating your bills and how they're paid. And so you just get in your app, set up, maybe it's you paying your loan every month. You can do it through bill pay. Maybe it's you paying your utilities. What it does is it's another form of automation and fraud prevention, because you could, Jared, say that you were going to pay your water bill. You put the water department in there as the receiver, and every month bill pay writes a check to them, sends it in the mail, and it's not your account numbers. They're like scrambled, and it's a real check that gets sent to them every month. You don't have to worry about it. It's like someone working on your behalf for free.
That's great.
Yeah. So bill pay is awesome. Yeah. I think I could probably utilize that one a lot more on my account. I kind of forget about it, but it's definitely a great feature. And that's why I want to talk about it today. So we remind people. But yeah.
Another one, and we actually talked about this on a previous episode, but like automating money from your checking account to like a savings account is a really great feature that we can do as well. So you could do $10 a week or $100 a month, or however you want to do that. You can automate that to where you can grow those savings accounts or whatever kind of account you want to do, whether that's a vacation fund, automated. So I love that feature because I'm not disciplined enough to like proactively move money over. And so it just does it automatically. And I think that's a really great feature that our mobile app has.
Yeah. There's many more features on here that we could talk about all day. Like the last one I'll probably say is you can pull up your statements from the last year. And maybe it's longer than that. But if you're like, I don't know what I spent, or you want to look at, how much money you spent over the entire year, how much money you saved, and do a little checks and balancing. Like you can download those and print them off. Like it's so easy to access this information. I would say if anything, it is about access to your finances. And if you want to be like financially successful, I think like spending time with your finances and having those in view every day is very important. I would say if you're looking at like multimillionaires, they're probably not people that are just like lax with their bank accounts and like, whatever. I don't care if I got fraud, whatever. If it goes in, it goes out. Like, I don't really care. You can't act like that if you want to be financially sound. So just having access to that is a big thing. So I would say wherever you're banking, we hope that you bank with Farmers State Bank, but make sure you have access to a really great online banking account, mobile banking. It's really great.
It is really great.
Do you have anything else you want to share, Jared?
No, I love our app. If you're not utilizing it, you're not really using the full potential of what Farmers has to offer. It's great. So play around with it. That's our biggest advice is, get used to it.
Yeah. And if you are someone that does bank with us and you don't have the app just yet, you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download it, get it started, and then just contact us and we will get you going. That simple.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next week.
So, Jill, where do we go from here? Be sure to check out our show notes for this episode, and also be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.